Have you ever identified with toxic relationships? Maybe even a narcissist? I'm Sarah Bush. You know, when we take a look at relationships and we say they're toxic, what does that look like? Does that come from when we're growing up? And in the environment that we grow up in, we all of a sudden create our belief systems, our values, which then have us attract relationships that either support us or they take us down when we're growing up. All in what we're exposed to. In this broadcast, I want to take a look at one's belief system when it comes down to relationships, not only in professional relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, or friends. It doesn't make any difference. But when it comes down to looking at where we belong in that environment, what are we attracting? Do we feel empowered in the relationships that we're in? Do we feel loved? Do we feel supported? Do we even feel cared for? Is someone asking us what we want? Or is anyone even caring what we want? You know, I have a sign in my office that says, "You are what you pay attention to." That's pretty profound. What are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to the negative? Or are you paying attention to something that you really want in your life that is joy-filled? When I do coaching or when I do trauma body work, I can tell the emotional stress in somebody's body where they're holding emotions in that are affecting the organs. That throws a person's health out of balance. So when it comes down to where we are in our life, what are we resonating? What's the energy? What's the vibration we're putting in our body? And what kind of relationships are we attracting? You know, I can't do this broadcast without truthfully telling you my own experience. You know, I grew up in a good family. It wasn't a perfect family, but it was a good family. And you know, when my father would come in and I'd get in trouble and I'd get put in the bedroom and he'd come in, he wouldn't spank me, he wouldn't hit me. He would say to me, "You disappointed me." Oh my gosh, it was like somebody put a knife through my heart. Because the last thing I ever wanted to do was disappoint my dad. But what I learned later on as I started doing more personal development work is that what I made that mean when I was growing up was that he didn't love me. That's not what he said. That's what I made it mean. And so I can remember calling him on the phone and saying, "Dad, I got to tell you something." Well, it blew him away. He started to cry. I started to cry. He said, "I've never stopped loving you, even in the moments where I didn't agree with you." And so when we take a look at those moments and times about what we make something fit or how we believe or what our value systems are, it has a lot to do with the way we were raised. My mom, God love her, she was a beautiful woman, a dynamic woman. But was she a narcissist? It was all about her. It was all about her. She always used to say to me, "Be 15 minutes late before you walk into a room so that you have everybody look at you." Well, now I know those are traits of a narcissist. And that doesn't make her bad or wrong. It just has to do with certain traits she had that maybe I picked up that had me be in relationships where they were all about them, and because I am such a giver, I'm such a compassionate person, that I was drawn to those kind of people. And yet, in my life, in my relationships, especially with men, back in my 20s, early 30s, I can't say that those were narcissistic relationships, but after that, I can say that pretty much business personal, and loving relationships were centered around all about them. You know, one of the traits of a narcissist or someone that is all about me is that they really care about their appearance to the exterior part of those people that they're around. They want to look good, they're intelligent, they're smart, and yet when it comes down to doing the inner work, it's not their problem, it's your problem. They're master manipulators. You know, if I had a fishing rod for every time that a experience that I had with a narcissist, they hook you, they share with you, they make you feel good, and then they just slowly draw you in. Another analogy I use is a spider web. They pull you in and then they wrap you around to where you don't even realize you're surrendering to somebody else who's in control. Who do they attract? What kind of personality, what kind of ego do they attract? People like me, maybe even people like you. Compassionate, caring people. People that are trustworthy, are dependable, are loyal, are generous. Generous to the point of hurting yourself emotionally and physically. But more importantly, they look for people that can be vulnerable. Vulnerable to their presentation, their outward presentation. Maybe they're even sick. Maybe they're needy, really needy, and they just draw you in. But they draw you in much like a spider. But I got to tell you that knowing all of this, knowing these behaviors, knowing these traits, I'm not going to change me being compassionate. I'm not going to change giving of my time to causes I believe in. I'm not going to do that. But am I going to be a little bit more observant to the kind of people I bring into my life? They can be female, they can be male. I've even had a boss that truly was a narcissist with a capital N. But to tell him or to share with him issues that I had and better relationships, better communication between the two of us, no, I was the one that was wrong and he was the one that was right. But you know, one of the things that they do is they tell you how beautiful you are or how much you help them and save them, that you do for them, that you couldn't, you know, there couldn't be anybody better in their life, that you're the most trustworthy person. But when you share your emotions or when you share that something doesn't feel right, you screwed up. They literally, it's almost like they throw up on you with their negativity and I'm not at fault, you are. You're the one that screwed up. You're the one that caused this problem. It's not me. And because I'm sick, you don't get it that I'm sick and I can't do all these things. You know, other people create their own limitations, but you know what? We create our own limitations as well. They feel entitled. They feel entitled to control you. They drain you emotionally. They drain you spiritually. And I have to share with you that when I say spiritually, I read a little book every single day that gives me inspiration, not only God inspiration, but emotional inspiration. And I struggle with narcissists that truly believe that they are entitled to so much and that they don't owe certain things to anybody else except themselves because of what they've done for other people. And now that I'm sick, I shouldn't have to deal with all this mundane stuff. I struggle with that spiritually. I really do. But they do make you irritable. They do drain you. They can even make you angry, really angry. And yet when it comes down to communication, it's probably more by texting, because then they don't have to see how you feel. They don't have to feel your energy when they do something harmful to you and make something up. I've got to know in my heart that you're feeling some of this when it comes down to relationships that you're in. Whether it's that you're married or whether it's in a relationship, male or female, it doesn't make any difference. But pay attention to how your body feels with some of the things that I'm bringing up. You've got to know that when it comes down to conversations that you have with people that make you feel good when you leave the room, that should be an indicator. When you walk out of the room and go, yes, that felt good. That person made me feel good, made me feel safe, made me laugh, brought me joy. And then you go into another room and there's all this negativity and you walk out going, I think I have some of that on me. My whole mood has changed. And so again, it's about feeling what's going on inside your own body when you give your energy to somebody else. Remember what I said about that spider? Where they draw the web and you come over and you say, I think I can help that spider. And all of a sudden you get caught in the web and they bring you in and they tell you whatever they want to tell you for you to feel good, to feel safe, to feel needed. And yet, all of a sudden, you're standing behind a curtain with no identity. Your voice is not being heard. When you say, well, this is something I need, it's not about you, it's about them. And they're going to say that to you. Well, that's all well and good, and I understand that that's something you need, but it's all about me. It's all about me. And that's how toxic relationships get so unhealthy, so demeaning. It takes you down. It takes you from your spirit. It takes you from the life force that you are to be in every single day. And when I interview some of my clients, they're like, oh no, no. I have to clean the house, and if I don't do it right, I get yelled at. He wants a meal at 5 o'clock in the evening, and if it's 5:05, he yells at me. Or, she never says I ever look nice. She never pumps me up. She never tells me I'm doing a good job. It can be male or female, it doesn't make any difference. It's that passive aggressive behavior that comes out. And it creates distances in every relationship. But if you can't be honest and if you can't be real in a relationship, then you need to take a look at what it's going to take to step out of that. Knowing that you are being heard, knowing that you are being felt, knowing that you're being cared for is what a healthy relationship is about. I don't care if it's male-female, male-male, female-female, mother-daughter, mother-son, boss. It makes no difference. But you have to be willing to be in an environment that supports your beliefs and your values. And if you're not there right now, you need to be. You truly need to honor and love yourself enough to where you make those changes. Because I got to tell you, when you listen to my next broadcast that gives you the steps to do that, there's this freedom, there's this space of life and love and joy that you're going to feel, this vibration in your body. That if you're not healthy now, I don't care if it's emotionally, physically, or spiritually, you'll notice a shift. And I want that for you. So I'm asking you at this particular time, are you in a toxic relationship that doesn't serve you? Because I got to tell you, you're a great gift on this earth and you have a purpose. And you are deserving of an incredible amount of abundance in every aspect of your life. So if you found that this broadcast hit a nerve, hit like, but more importantly, subscribe, because you'll miss the next broadcast that gives you the steps to really be empowered and move out. I am honored that you're watching this today, and so I say thank you. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.